was in Cincinnati, schlepping. Yeah, no, I was, I know Scott had fun Saturday. I know, chief cook and bottle washing tonight. Good luck to us all. Your birthday? Oh, and it's Michelle's series. Do you know Michelle? It's her birthday too. 2 birthdays. Wow. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 yeah la. So this nigun has 2 parts. And even if you've never heard this nigun, this wordless melody before, the best thing about a wordless melody is you don't need to know the words. You know them already. Ya la la la. I have faith in you. Let's do it together. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to each of you this Shabbat evening as we have the chance to let go of whatever stress or tension remains with us from the week that just passed. I know I need a deep breath, so if you want to, you can join with me in taking a deep breath and letting it go, releasing any stress or tension, just allowing yourself to be fully present this evening as we bring in Shabbat. So we are going to continue bringing in Shabbat with the light of our Shabbat candles. I'd love to invite forward Judy Green. There you are, Judy. If you would come forward to help us kindle our Shabbat candles this evening. We also have tea lights here over on the table. Anyone who would like to kindle Shabbat candles as well, please feel free to come on up and do so. So as our candle lighters find their seats, I'm going to invite you to turn to those around you, wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. If you see someone close by who you don't yet know, please introduce yourselves. And we will continue together on the handouts with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ba'achem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In our prayer books on page 1, we will continue with Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh Av HaRachaman, Yedid Nefesh Av HaRachaman, Meshochadecha El Ritzonecha, Meshochadecha Ya la 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 El Ritzonecha. We will continue together on our handouts with Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena, ya la 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 la, la Adonai, ya la 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 la, Nahariha, ya la 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 la, Letzur Yishenu, ya la la to God, the maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear our song. Lechun eranena, ya la 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 la, la Adonai, ya la 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 la, Nahariha, ya la 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 la, Letzur Yishenu, ya la 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 la, for all of the wonder and all of God's light, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our heart to hear God's voice. Lechun eranena, ya la 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 la, la Adonai, ya la 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 la, Nahariha, ya la 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 la, Letzur Yishenu, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. In our prayer books on page 8, from Psalm 99, at the top of the page, toward the top of the page, where you see the asterisk, we will continue with Romemu. Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavuu lehar kodsho. Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavuu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavuu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavuu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavuu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavuu lehar kodsho. Beginning on page 10, we find the words of Lecha Dodi as we continue to welcome in Shabbat with joy and gladness. We are going to sing together the verses with asterisks. And on that final verse, verse 9, we will rise together as we are able and face the entrance to symbolically welcome the presence of Shabbat. Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 Likrat Hala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabel. Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 Likrat Hala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabel. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad v'hishmiyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad v'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet So Matzeh b'machshat chila. Yalalai, yalalai l'chaduji. Yalalai l'krakala. Yalalai p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech. Nir melucha. Kumitzehi. Min torafecha. Rav lach shevet. B'mekabecha. Behu yachamo. Halayich nemla. Yalalai, yalalai l'chaduji. Yalalai l'krakala. Yalalai p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yitoreri, yitoreri. Gibaore, kumiori. Uri, uri. Shir daberi. Kavod Adonai. Alayich mikla. Yalalai, yalalai l'chaduji. Yalalai l'krakala. Yalalai p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom. Atefala. Gam besimcha. Utzola. Tochemunei. Ansegula. Boi chala. Boi chala. Yalalai, yalalai l'chaduji. Yalalai l'krakala. Yalalai p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yalalai l'chaduji. Yalalai l'krakala. Yalalai p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. We remain standing now as we continue together on page 15. Page 15 with Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yamad yivrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uv'yizmahan karib v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'halam ulam mehamaya yibarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'alev v'yithalal shemei dekudasha brichu le'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damihiran bialma bimeru. Amen. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam ba. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam ba'ed. Baruch Adonai. Chai v'kayam tamid yimuch aleinu le'olam vad. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Baravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Akein Adonai Eloheinu v'shachmenu, U'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, B'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam ahed. Ki hem chayeinu, Be'orech yameinu, Uvahem negeh yomam v'layla, Negeh yomam v'layla, Be'ahavat chal tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. And we can be seated. Page 18. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu marim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levadecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Lema antizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hiatem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti achem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. On the top of page 21, we find the words of Micha Mocha, our song of freedom. And as we sing this song, we pray that just as the Israelites emerged from the narrow place and found expanse and found freedom, that we too can emerge from the narrow places of our own lives, external or internal narrow places, and be answered also with a wide expanse. Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Bako ונאמר כי פרענה את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. On the bottom of page 21, and then continuing on the bottom of page 22, Adonai, enable us to lie down this night in sleep and raise us up to life renewed, spreading over us a shelter of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 On the top of page 23, we will continue with Vishamru, celebrating the connection between the people of Israel and God through the covenant of Shabbat. And following Vishamru, we will remain standing as we are able as we continue with the silent Amidah. Page 23. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Bein Yuvain b'nei Yisrael, od hi le'olam, od hi le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Henyon libi lefanecha Adonai turi vekawali Adonai turi vekawali. At this time in our service, we have the opportunity to call into our hearts all those who are in need of healing. Healing of mind, of body, of spirit. If you've joined us streaming online, I invite you to share the names of those for whom you are praying in the chat or in the comments so we can include them in our own prayers. Present together in the room, I invite you to share the names of those for whom you are praying as I look around the room. The Mishaberach can be found in our prayer books on page 34. Page 34 at the top of the page. Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lahavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So this evening I brought a little text sheet for us to look at together rather than a formal sermon. Jay, I think you took a look at these papers and thought, I heard a whew, I'm not reading all of these. Don't worry, these are for you. I'll start making jokes about the warmth of Shabbat, right? We can kind of pass. There's probably not enough for everyone, but there should be enough for each person to share with the person next to them. So our Torah portion this week is Shlach Lecha in the book of Numbers. And this is the Torah portion in which Moses, at God's command, Moses sends scouts into the land of Israel to get the lay of the land, a reconnaissance mission. And so what I brought for us this evening is a little bit of the text from the Torah portion and just a few commentaries for us to look at together. So as we take a look at the text from the Torah portion, I'll encourage you to just let whatever interests you jump out at you, anything you particularly notice, whether that's about details, bigger picture, whether that's about what Moses says, what the spies or the scouts say. Okay, so keep an eye on what's jumping out to you and what you are most noticing. So the first text, Numbers chapter 13, verse 1, this is the beginning of our Torah portion. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, send people to scout the land of Canaan, which I'm giving to the Israelite people. Send one person from each of the ancestral tribes, each one a chieftain among them. So send people of standing, chieftains among the tribes. Okay, so they get organized and they do so. And Moses then is sending them to scout the land and telling them exactly what he imagines they're supposed to do. So this is the next text. We've jumped a number of verses. Moses says to them, go up there into the Negev and onto the hill country and see what kind of country it is. Are the people who dwell in it strong or weak, few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns they live in open or fortified? Is the soil rich or poor? Is it wooded or not? And take pains to bring back some of the fruit of the land. So, is the land fertile? What are the people like? What is it going to take? We often think about them just entering the promised land. They have to conquer the promised land. What is there? Is it fortified? What are these people like? Anything jumping out to you that anyone wants to note until then? Debbie, yeah. Fortified homes, right? Right, so just like maybe this is just about what's it going to be like to live there? Are the towns fortified? Is it going to be hard to get, when we till the earth, is it going to be easy? Is it going to be hard for us? So perhaps it's just about living, or at least part of this is just about living there. Good. Judy, yeah. Right. We want evidence, right? Specifically, isn't that the most Jewish thing? Bring back some of the food, right? Okay, so they go around, they go up, they go east, they go west, right? And jumping to verse 23, where the next bolded part is, they reach the Wadi Eshkol, where they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes. It had to be borne on a carrying frame by two of them, and some pomegranates and figs. How big were the bunches of grapes? They were so big, it took two people to carry them on a frame, right? Okay, so the land is fertile, right? So they're finding out some good stuff about the land. Okay, but we'll go to the next text. So the spies get back, the scouts get back, they've done their job, and they come right into camp, right to Moses and Aaron, right? They don't freshen up, they don't do anything, right to Moses and Aaron to fill in the Israelite community in front of the whole community. And here's what they say. We're on the next text on the top of the second page, verse 27, where we have the next bolded piece. This is what they told him. We came to the land which you sent us to. It does indeed flow with milk and honey. And this, picture the grapes, this is its fruit. However, but the people who inhabit the country are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw Anakites there, giants. These people are known to be incredibly tall and strong-looking. Anakites there. Amalekites dwell here, Hittites, Jebusites, other people all over, strong people. But Caleb hushed the people, one of the spies, Caleb hushed the people before Moses and said, let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it. So Caleb says, okay, all that's true, right? But we can do it. We've got it, guys. But the men who had gone up with him said, we cannot attack that people, for it is stronger than we. And they spread calumnies among the Israelites about the land they'd scouted, saying, the country that we traversed and scouted is one that devours its settlers. All the people we saw are men of great size, Nephilim. Those were supposed to be like half angel, half human, these powerful semi-divine beings. The Anakites are part of the Nephilim. Editor note, okay? And we looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them. Okay, yes, Brett. So Branch has asked a big question. He said, how is it justified in the text or among the commentators that there are people there and we're told to go and conquer them? It's a big question. The on one foot answer, and this can have a much longer discussion. Right, next week, I have a plan for next week. But Torah study, consider this a plug for Torah study where you can dig into all of these things Sunday mornings during the religious school year. The on one foot answer is there isn't really a justification that would satisfy us today, right? But there is tribalism, there is a sense of us and them. There's a sense that we are given the land, but there is not archaeological evidence that other peoples were ever fully exiled or wiped out, right? So it depends on the area in Israel. It depends on the period of time. And not to whitewash it, there was war. So much after the Torah, the book of Joshua and beyond, talks about all of those battles and how they went. But frankly, there aren't really justifications that would, I think, speak to us as modern people today in a way that would be fully satisfying. Beth Joy.
Well, I would say, they say, some people scout the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelite people. So God is saying that. And the other part of it is, as far as them being settled there, I don't know, I think during that time period, everybody, or many people, tribes nomadic.
Right, there are lots of nomadic tribes or regional kingdoms almost with chieftains, more chieftains that we would think about that might get into battles with each other or try to take land or over resources. This was a resource-rich place, right? So some of the people were more nomadic than others. So what I'm going to ask us to do is to dig into some of what's going on with the scouts. We have Caleb, and after this also Joshua agrees with him. Caleb and Joshua who say, we can do it. And then the 10 other spies who march right up in front of the entire community and Moses and Aaron and say, bad idea, guys. This is not going to go well for us. We are itty-bitty weaklings compared to these giant people. Are you crazy? We just got out of Egypt. What are we doing? Right? And so what I'm going to ask is, for you each to ask within yourselves, is there anything you identify with about either the scouts who are afraid or Joshua and Caleb who have this faith or this belief that despite the challenges, they can do it? Right? I would venture to guess at different moments, each of us are one or the other or both. Right? Can you understand the mentality of either? Right? And also, spoiler alert, this is the moment when the Israelites end up going with the 10 scouts who are afraid. And they fear and they say, we can't do it. And it's because of this incident that the entire generation, doesn't get to enter the promised land. Only the youth and people who are born after. Right? So this is that pivotal moment. Right? So I wanted to just point out a couple things that the commentators do. Rashi adds some dialogue. They even heard the people saying, there are ants in our vineyards that look like human beings. That one I just think is funny. And on the third page, Kiddushin, this is from the Talmud, it says, one who casts aspersions on others is suspect himself to have the very same defect he is publicizing about others. And then it's my language. If you spot it, you got it, right? So the sense of we must have looked like grasshoppers, seeing themselves as they imagine they're being seen through the eyes of the people who dwell there. We don't really know what the people who dwelled in the land might have thought of them, but internally, they felt small. Debbie, your hand has been up. Yeah.
What jumps at me, both in one page and then turning the other kind of reinforces it, there's a whole lot of negative self-talk here.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot of like, if you think you are X, Y, Z, well then everybody else must think that you're X, Y, Z, and oh, you imposter person you, and oh, you can't achieve, and blah, blah, blah.
Right, imposter syndrome, not a new thing, right?
All these negative things that people internalize that we think everybody else thinks about us, but really they don't.
Right. So much of what we think others think has to do so much with ourselves, much more than what anyone else would perceive, right? And they were concerned about how they might be perceived. Exactly. Negative self-talk, maybe kind of some kind of imposter syndrome happening, right? Okay. Midrash Tanhuma turns it on its head. This is the classical Midrash. So around the same period of time around the Talmud, 400, 500 of the Common Era, it says that the spies actually misunderstood Moses about the point of the mission. Moses didn't need the spies actually to scout the land. Rather, he wanted the spies to see how strong and fortified it was. That is, if people live in fortified cities, it shows that they are weak and afraid. Truly strong people would not feel the need to be surrounded by tall, thick walls. Was that intended for the crowd to hear? Arlene just said, in the city we live in, that's very interesting, right? And think about this not only about physical protection, but how truly strong people let down their walls and are vulnerable with other people too. This isn't just about fortified cities. This is about the walls we put up between ourselves and others, and what strength there is in letting other people in showing that we're not perfect. All right, so and the Hasidic teaching from Toldot Yaakov Yosef just highlights that. And then I wanted to end with a favorite quote that is likely familiar to many of you from Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, right? So that's late 18th, early 19th century Hasidic teacher, student of the Baal Shem Tov, who taught the whole world, kol haolam kulo, gesher tsar ma'od. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and the most important part is not to be afraid. And I heard a colleague of mine, Rabbi Rachel Ackerman, give a beautiful Devar Torah about the way we translate this, suggesting instead the following translation: the whole world is a very narrow bridge. The most important part is not to be all consumed by fear. Ha'ikar lo lefached klal, to not be completely fearful, right? Because we're going to be afraid. We're going to encounter things that are new, just like the Israelites heading into this new land. And there's goodness for us there. It's beautiful. There's milk and honey. It's fruitful. But there are challenges that lay ahead. It's okay to be afraid, but it's important not to let it fully consume you, not to let that be the only feeling, as exemplified by Joshua and Caleb, who said, yes, there are challenges, but we can do it. My hope and my prayer is this Shabbat and in the week to come, we look out at challenges that may face us, whether personally, in our personal lives, professional lives, in our community, in our communities. We look at the challenges that may face us, what may lie ahead. And even if we may have concerns, we may have fear, we remember that we too can stand tall and strong, and we can meet those fears, and we need not be consumed by them. May this be God's will. Keni hi ratzon. Amen. And I would love to invite forward now to share a few announcements with us, John Thompson, a new board member of our congregation.
Almost a new board member. I have 2 weeks.
I was going to say, TikTok, July 1. Okay.
Okay. I am John Thompson. I am new to the board. First, Temple High helps Ukrainian refugee family. Temple High and Bethel have been matched with a Ukrainian refugee family who will be resettling in Phoenix. Please contact Alan and Amy Isaacson or Corey Rosen if you would like to help in this important mitzvah. Bottled water drive. Until July 19th, you can drop off bottled water at Temple High to be distributed to those experiencing homelessness. On July 20th, we will be joining Arizona Choose for Justice and Project Mayim, where we will directly deliver water bottles to those in need in Central Phoenix. See your EHI to register. And I'm sure if you aren't on the mailing list for the EHI, if you're a visitor or interested in our community here, you could probably call the office and get additional information. There's a trip to Israel planned for, let's see, keep your calendars open. It's going to be late May, early June of 2024. Rabbi Emily Siegel and Rabbi Scott Siegel will be leading the Temple High trip in that period of time, May or June of 2024. Board members are identifiable by name badges. I don't have one. Yeah, there's one over there. I was thinking about it earlier. It's like, the bigger your name tag is. It's one of those kind of things. After services, you can find us near the rear of the sanctuary. Please come up and introduce yourself. If you don't know me, you probably know Jeannie. A couple other things that weren't on the original list that I just wanted to point out again, and more information would be available in the EHI or call in the office. Havdalah in Prescott on 7/29. Shabbat in the Pines on August 4th, and Havdalah in Munns Park on August 5th. And also there's a lot of things coming up in the fall and winter that'll be a lot more information coming in the fall. Intro to Judaism in January, Musar starting in September. So there's a lot going on. I would too like to welcome all the visitors, new people, people in search. You've had the wonderful experience of the small sanctuary tonight. It's truly special, and we hope you'll join us again.
Thank you. Yasher Koach. We will continue now together with the concluding prayers of our service. Aleinu can be found on page 38. Page 38 of your prayer book, and I invite you to rise as you are able. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teik gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kugoye haratzon velo samanu kemishpachot hadama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam vanachnu korim Umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiheh Adonai echad Ushemo Echad. You may be seated. We think now of all those we have loved and lost, friends, family, members of our congregational community, for whom we are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit. As a congregational community, we remember those who died in recent days, Nanette Solomon and Norman Weiser. If you are here remembering someone you have loved and lost, whether in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit or simply remembering someone at this time, I invite you to rise as you are able to share those names. If you've joined us streaming online, please share the names of those you are remembering in the chat or in the comments so we can hold them close in our hearts with our own. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish can be found in your prayer books on page 40. Page 40, we rise as one community in support of all those in mourning or remembering those they've loved and lost. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Bialma divrach lirte viamlich malchute. B'chayachon of yomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala uvizman kari vimru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'alam lalmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar v'yit ale v'yit halal shemei dekudasha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as again we say, amen. We remain standing now together as we continue with Kiddush, from the sanctity of memory to the holiness of this moment and the sweetness of Shabbat. And Debbie, oh, you're already coming forward, is going to help us with Kiddush.
Do we do Vaiko or just the Kiddush part?
We typically just do the Kiddush part. So Kiddush can be found on page 41. You want to get us started?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza b'hanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yahavahu b'ratzon infilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha v'yahavahu ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechaim. L'chaim Yasher Koach. May it be a Shabbat of joy and peace, of rest and goodness for each of you. And I can't resist the opportunity. We have 2 birthdays and an anniversary that I know of. There may be more here in the room tonight. So a big happy birthday to Michelle and Arlene, and a big mazel tov on your anniversary. 66 years, right? Mazel tov. To the next 66. Mazel tov. Shabbat shalom.